Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Melissa, and this is Budgeting Over 40. So, I am going in and I'm going to close out my December budget. But before I have to do that, or before I could do that, I have to close out week number 4. So, if you're interested in seeing that, stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Like I said, my name is Melissa. I do budgeting videos on this channel. I am on a journey to become financially and also debt free. And if you're not new, welcome back, you guys. It's lovely to have you guys back. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope your New Year's was great, whether relaxing or festive or, however you celebrate. I hope that it found you in great health. Um, so let's go ahead and take a look at week number four's transaction. Now, week number four is going from the 24th of December and it's running through to the end of the month, the 31st. So the first transaction up is a transaction here on the 23rd for Abigail. And I have it categorized as miscellaneous expense and BSF is bought as a favor. Um, so if you have seen any of my YNAB videos, I do have a playlist. So take a look. I do have a category in my budget that's called bought as a favor. So if it's anything that I've bought for a family member or bought where somebody's going to reimburse me for that, I list it under that category. Okay. So this was something that I did for hubby for $350 and it went against my checking account. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to check that. Also on the 24th, I went for groceries at ShopRite. I spent $126.20 and that was on my Apple Card. Same receipt actually, same day for $24.57 in household goods. Then I went to BJ's. I had to do some stock ups on some household goods and groceries. I spent $52.58 in groceries and $82.93 on household goods. Also on the 24th, I went to CVS for medicine. I think I had a prescription to pick up for $9.09. Then I made a payment to my Carter's card. There was a balance on there, and I did not want the statement to close with the balance because I would be paying interest for 247.01. I went ahead and I paid that off on the 26th. Also on the 26th, I paid the second half of my one main payment for $300. I'm going to go ahead and check that off. On the 26th, I got my son's haircut, and it was for $36.20. And that went on my Apple Card, and that was kind of a weird situation. I usually do use my Apple Card to pay for his haircut. Well, not usually, but I do notice they charge a fee because the $1.20 extra from that $35 here is what they charge me for the fee. So I won't be doing that again. I will be paying cash from here on out. On the 26th, I went ahead and I made an extra payment to One Main for $50.69. That went against my account. I sent money to my daughter for child support for $263 on the 26th. And if this is your first time, what I do is anything that went against my checking account, I go ahead and I check it off just for me to keep track of what is being paid out. Because, like you can tell, most of these or some of these transactions are on credit cards. So I need to know when I go back into my transaction log what I need to pay back to the credit card. Okay. I try to pay them back within the same month. Some months I can't because I am short on income or I am over on expenses. So I do keep track of it here. So when I do check it off, it is money that is gone from my account, and money that is already paid out. It's left my account. Okay. So on the 26th, I also went to CVS and I bought some supplies for my little one. I think these were for diapers. She still goes to bed in a pamper, and I spent $20.82 on my Apple Card. My Sirius XM subscription went out for $7.27 on the 26th. Then I went to Liberty Iron. This was also I bought as a favor for hubby. He does these small projects, and usually, if I'm out and about, I'm the one to pick things up from different stores. I spent $355.20, and that went on my Apple Card. The landlord finally took the rent for $2,500 on the 27th. Then I went to Carter's or shopped online actually, and I bought the kids some more stuff for winter. I spent $169.90. That went on my Carter's card. On the 28th, Nancy's tailoring here, personal spending for $130.36. So I was going away on a cruise. I've spoke about this. If you guys didn't know, I was on a cruise for 7 days. So I had a dress that I've had for 2 years. When I bought it, I was a little bit heavier, so I needed to have it tailored or, what would you say, adjusted. So I took it to the seamstress and did not know that it was going to cost this much to have the dress altered. I could have bought a new dress with this, but I was telling myself that since I already had a dress, I should go ahead and, just wear that dress instead of buying a new dress. But at this cost, I could have bought a new dress. But anyway, moving on. On the 27th, I went to Walmart, and these expenses that are coming up are just for preparation for our trip. I spent $137.75 in Walmart for clothes and shoes. Famous Footwear for $183.07. TJ Maxx on the 28th for $15.68. Marshalls for $92.90. On air parking, so we had to fly out of New York to Florida, Fort Lauderdale for our trip. We bounced around the idea of taking public transportation, whether it was a train or a bus, to get to the airport. However, when we worked it out, it would have cost us more money to other than parking our car. So I know airport parking was going to be ridiculous. So we shopped around and I found a cheaper parking, which is cheaper, is 110.59. So on air parking for 110.59 for parking our car for 10 days while we were out of town. That was on the 28th. So on the 28th, also I bought gas for $10 and a penny, and I only bought $10 because that gas station was a little pricey. So I just bought enough to get me to a cheaper gas station. On the 28th, TJ Maxx for $73.50 for some more stuff, clothes. On the 28th, now again, I spent $82 and another penny for gas. On the 29th, I paid my internet bill for $116.06, my T-Mobile bill for $295.64. Again, groceries, and now this is for us. When we were out of town, this was for having groceries in the house for the kids of my family member who stayed. Stop and Shop for $108.98 and King Cullen for $56.30. Famous Footwear again. Now this one was on my Famous Footwear card for $208.93, and this was getting I think a pair of sneakers for myself and a pair of sneakers for hubby. Then I realized that I needed to get more fuel just so the house would be fueled while we were gone for $412.97. Dunkin' Donuts. While we were at the airport, we had ordered food, so we had said goodbye to the kids the night before because we were leaving. I think we were leaving the house at 5:30 in the morning, or yes, I think we ended up leaving at 5:30 in the morning. We didn't want to wake them, so trying to get something to eat while they were asleep, they would have definitely woken up. So we decided to get food on the road, and this was in the airport. 358 for coffee at Dunkin' Donuts and 629 for additional stuff at I think there were both coffees at Dunkin' Donuts. Airport food. This is what drove me nuts, and I couldn't believe it. $35.90 for two sandwiches at the airport. Completely ridiculous. But we decided to get food out, so that's what it cost. Venus is a catalog shopping. I did it online, and I ended up taking out a new credit line with them. I spent 130.67. This was for some clothes for myself, and like I said, all this is in preparation for our trip. And I know, I spent money. I spent money on credit cards. I did, and yes, I don't regret it because I did have a wonderful time on my trip. I wished I had prep for this, but now I know. So, anyway, hubby transferred 30, not 30, but hubby transferred $300 in, and this was to reimburse me for this Liberty Iron for $355. So, I'm still owed $55.20. So, he sent that in. And that was on the 31st. And then a small interest payment or interest amount came in for 19 cents to both accounts on the 31st. So I'm going to make a note right here for the Liberty Iron. Actually, I'm not because that wasn't paid for. I didn't pay it back to the credit card yet. So I'm not even going to make a note because that $300 just rolled into doing other things within the budget. Okay. So these were all the transactions for the last week of the month of the year. So you guys, before I proceed, there was one thing that I didn't address in week 3. Hubby had sent over $400 here, and it was to cover this transaction to Abigail on the 24th. I didn't remember to document this income, so my leftover or rollover from week 3 is going to be different from what is in my other video. So let's take a look at the budget. So it was my rollover was $499 and change in week 3. So now it has changed. My rollover is going to be $824.88. And I didn't have any income in this week, but hubby did send me $300, and there was 19 cents for the interest income. So the total income amount I'm working with is $1,125.07. I didn't put anything into the savings and sinking fund section. I didn't put anything into the given. In the monthly bills and expenses, $2,500 for the rent, $116.06 for the internet bill, $295.64 for cell phone, heating oil for $12.97, subscription $7.27 for SiriusXM. The Amazon Prime actually somehow hubby is covering that now. I don't know. I think he linked his credit card and it's being paid from that card, so I'm not going to change it. So total bills and expenses $3,331.94. Variable spending, I spent $344.06 in groceries, $107.50 in household goods, $909 in copay and meds, and $45.77 in eating out. And that's a total of $506.42. In the transportation section, there was that $92.02 for gas, and 110.59 for parking. That's a total of 202.61. In the kids section, I didn't have to pay the babysitter because the kids were home. But I spent $169.90 on clothing for them, $263 on child support, $36.20 on haircuts, $20.82 on supplies, for a total of $489.92. In the personal section, I spent $130.36 in personal spending, but as a favor, a miscellaneous expense for $705.20, clothes and shoes for $842.50, for a total spent of $1,678.06. Now in the debt section, I paid $350.69 to One Main, and that was the only amounts that went out. In the credit card section, I only paid the Carter's card for $247.01, and that's the only thing that went out in the credit card section. So total income that I was working with is $1,125.07, and total expenses $6,806.65. Now that's an overage of $5,681.58. But do remember, this is on credit cards because most of the charges were made onto credit cards. Okay, now so you guys, let's I'm gonna just jump right on over into the budget itself, and just close out the numbers for the full month of December. So, starting the month of December, I had a rollover of $263. Let's see if we can make this a little bit bigger. I had a total of $263.67 that I rolled over. My income was $6,014.74. Hubby sent over $2,320, and additional income that came in, that included reimbursements, just miscellaneous checks that I received in the mail, for $1,391.41. So that's a total of $9,989.82 for my total inflow and income. In the savings and sinking fund section, I had budgeted $50 for my emergency fund. I ended up sending over 25. I sent $20 to All Things Kids and $25 to my personal fund. That's a total of $70 sent over into savings. I didn't do anything for the giving section. Haven't started. I didn't start in the month of December. I'm hoping to get it started sometime in January, but that's it. There's zero that was sent over in the giving section. In the monthly bills and expenses, my rent was on budget for $2,500. My electric was under by just 21 cents. I paid $39.79. My renter's insurance, that was my month off, so I didn't spend spend anything there. Internet was $116.06. It was over by $2.06. Cell phone was $295.64, which is over by $1.64. Propane, I didn't pay anything out in December. I'm due to do that in January. But my heating oil, look at this, $836.19 went out. And I do know that this is something I need to put into my budget, because always the end of the year into the beginning of the year is when we use the most heating oil. So I'm gonna have to figure this part out. Subscriptions, I budgeted $125. I spent $102.66, $22.34 under. So that's a total of total bills and expenses for $3,890.34. Variable spending, okay, this is I've hinted towards this in multiple videos. I had a viewer who actually hinted towards this also. My grocery budget is it was $600, but I ended up spending $1,364.59, and that was over by $764.59. So I'm gonna have to revamp this whole budget for my groceries. Household also, I only budgeted $50. I spent $300.92. That's an overage of $250.92. Copay and meds, I didn't budget anything. I spent $127.22. Other miscellaneous, I didn't spend anything. Eating out, I budgeted $50. I spent $206.12. That's over by $156.12. And total variable is $1,998.85. In the transportation section, my car loan was on point for $939.23. My car insurance came in over budget for $243.82, which is $3.82 over budget. Fuel for the car, I budgeted $100. I spent $237.07. That's an overage of $137.07. Nothing for maintenance and repairs, but for parking, I spent $110.59, and that wasn't budgeted. So total spent in the transportation section is $1,530.71. And like I've been apologizing to you guys, I am under the weather. I came back from vacation sick, so I do sound like I'm underwater or that I can't breathe because I actually can't. But the show must go on, right? Moving on to the kids section, I sent $910 to the babysitter. I was under by $190. Kids clothing $256.34, not in the budget. Child support was on budget $526. Braces for $164. This is something that I have entered into the budget as of December. Haircuts and fun money, $70. I spent $66.13. I'm under by $3.87. Kids supplies, I spent $34.73, which was over budget. I spent a total of $1,957.80 on the kids. In the personal section, personal spending, I spent $139.53. That's over budget by $89.53. Nothing for budget supplies. I don't need any more. Grooming $7.58. Pedicure $60. Bought as a favor miscellaneous spending $976.75. Clothes and shoes $1,085.67, and none of those were in budget. So I am over in this area. Total spent is $2,269.53. I'm over by $2,219.53. And this is why, the end of week 4, you see that big red number of $5,000. This is why. Okay, moving on. In the debt loan section, I sent $40 to my student loan. I paid extra to my one main, so I am over by $55.79. I had budgeted $600. Lending club, I was on budget for $1,059.22. That's a total spend of $1,755.01. In the credit card debt section, I sent $170 to my Discover card, which is under budget of $3. Mattress Firm is on budget for $67. Capital One number 1 got a total of $1,085 in payments. And this is because, I did charge some additional things to the card and I did pay some back. Carter's got 247.01 and Apple Card got 630.15. And this is the same. I've spent some stuff. I've charged some things to this card, so I've paid extra. So total credit card payments 2,199.16, and that is over budget. So total income from above 9,989.82. I spent a total of 15,671.40, and that is a total budget over budget of $5,681.58. Now, like I said, all of this is, my budget. My account is not in the red this amount, but my budget went over by this amount, and it was supplemented using credit cards. So, this is the budget for the month of December. I went a little bit crazy because I had to do some vacation prepping. So hopefully, or for January on in 2024, I can reel this budget in and cut some of my expenses. I also will be cutting my credit card charges. I'm gonna figure out how to pay cash for things, or even if I use the credit card, it's using payback right away, not wait on it. But if you guys have stuck around this long, thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please go ahead and subscribe. If you do like the content, give me a thumbs up on the video if this is something that you appreciate watching. Leave me a comment in the comment box down below, just to communicate with me. I do like to communicate with you guys. I try to answer every single comment that come in, even just to say thank you. I do appreciate you guys. Like I said, this journey, it's not for the weak, you guys. It's not at all. But I am holding on and I am very hopeful and I am going to get this done. So, my name is Melissa. Thank you for watching.